We're staged for another run of Nitro-fueled NHRA talk. It's The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, with Marty Hough and 10-time NHRA winner Doug Herbert. Brought to you by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your hosts, Doug and Marty.
This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing. Thanks for stopping by our half hour of horsepower. Appreciate you being with us. J.R. Todd takes Coletta Motorsports to Indy's winner's circle, and Steve Torrence takes it all in Top Fuel. Talk to both today. The burnout is complete. We're set to launch another edition of The Straight Line. Hey, how you doing? Coast to coast, around the world. This is The Straight Line on Drag Racing at MRN.com, along with four-time IHRA Top Fuel champion, 10-time NHRA National Event winner Doug Herbert. I am Marty Hough, getting through the big go this weekend, and a lot of history made. As noted, we will talk to our Nitro winners at the U.S. National, Steve Torrence and J.R. Todd, coming up. But in other pro news, Drew Skillman really dominant over the last half of this regular season with another win, winning at Indianapolis, his first U.S. Nationals. Eddie Krawiec getting the Pro Stock Motorcycle win in Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Well, and Harley's having low ET and top speed in Pro Stock Motorcycle, so if they were sandbagging, they're not anymore.
No. You know, I mean, they were crying the blues there for a while, talking about, hey, we got this new motorcycle. It's not where we really wanted. And the numbers kind of showed that. You know, I don't know if they threw the sandbags off once they got to Indianapolis or not, but they really showed that they are probably the team to beat heading into the countdown once again, and that's fairly typical of a Vance and Hines run team.
Well, and different from some of the other Pro Stock bike teams, the Vance and Hines teams is based right there in, you know, a half mile down the street from the racetrack, right next to Schumacher and John Force Racing. All them are, you know, they're based a half mile literally from the racetrack. Vance and Hines is based there too, so I'm guessing that gives them a little home advantage. You know, kind of like for years, the Vance and Hines team was based in Colorado, which gave them a home advantage for racing at Denver. So, you know, they've got some pretty big advantages all the way around. And besides that, they're building the engines for other teams. There's a lot of R&D that comes from just being Vance and Hines.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the biggest Cinderella stories that we've seen in a long time at any national event, much less the U.S. Nationals, Kevin Kinsley comes from the 16th, right off the bump, goes all the way to the final round. An amazing run by those guys. Unfortunately, our buddy Clay Millican was a victim of that. Kinsley with a 13 light in the first round. I mean, kind of a hero run there, but he did what he needed to do to advance himself and did a great job running very consistent numbers and getting to the final round.
Well, Clay Millican's car was #1 qualifier and had low ET of a couple of the qualifying sessions, so they had a really good car.
Yeah, they did.
Clay went into the first round. I'm sure his crew chief, Dave Grubnick, was thinking, you know what, let's go up there and run a 75. That'll be good. Those guys haven't run anywhere near that. And then all of a sudden, first round, they stepped up. Clay wasn't really late on the tree, but he wasn't as good as he normally is on the tree and got put on the trailer. That's tough, man. In fact, both #1 qualifiers in Top Fuel and Funny Car, Matt Hagan and Funny Car, Clay Millican, Top Fuel, out first round. Both of them out first round. So Indy, for some reason, that #1 qualifier spot doesn't seem to be all that great. I remember, I think it was the first year, maybe the first event Tony Schumacher raced that was at Indy in like 96 or 97. Number 16 qualifier, he was supposed to race Blaine Johnson. Got a single first round and ended up going to the final round. I think maybe Jim Head actually beat him in the final, now that I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of races between now and then. So I'm a little foggy, but I'm pretty sure, I think
that's pretty much right.
You know, I was number 16 qualifier at Indy in 1993. Raced, I think, Corey McLennan first round, beat him, and went to the final round, number 16. So number 16 qualifier at Indy seems like, you know,
possible.
A little bit of luck. And you know, the cars now, with as good as they are, really 16th spot mostly is usually just somebody that has a little bit of trouble during qualifying. It isn't that they can't run well.
Yeah. If you're at the U.S. Nationals, you're probably going to run fairly decent. Everybody stepped up their game for the U.S.
Well,
Nationals.
it was a record bump spot as well.
And that's exactly right, because the conditions were so good on Friday and Saturday and that you had to be good. If you weren't going to back into that one, especially.
And that Kevin Kinsley, just to be noted, Donnie Binder is the crew chief on that car. Donnie Binder's been around for a long time.
Yes.
Maybe doesn't have the name recognition of Austin Coyle or Dick LaHaye or whatever, but he worked with Dick LaHaye for many years over at Coletta's and then also at Perdome's with Larry Dixon there. So he's got plenty of experience, and he did a great job getting that car to run, because not only they got to the final, but they ran really well.
Yeah.
For, all those rounds in between. In the final, they lost traction. But, you're going up there for the biggest race in the world. That
you're
going
to push it. Yeah. Exactly. Real quick, before we head to the break, speaking of our buddy Clay Milliken, some good-natured smack talk going on
this
on
is good
Twitter.
Natured. Hey, we're going to do a little match race over in Memphis this weekend. We're having a breaks class in Memphis this weekend in honor of Clay's son, Dalton. So the classes are all filled up. We're really happy about that. Excited to be going back over to Memphis. And then Saturday night, the racetrack wants to have a little match race between Clay and I. And I'm going to surprise him because I'm sure he's sandbagging and he's going to have a faster car. So before we go up there to run, I'm going to make him switch cars, or we're going to do something because he got put on the whole shot at Indy, and he's going to get put on a whole shot over there at Memphis.
Oh boy,
in a street car too. There's no prisoners here, trust me.
Wow. Speaking of really good lights, the guy who took everything at Indy in Top Fuel this weekend, we'll talk to him next. He's Steve Torrence.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
Hey, Danica Patrick here. When I have friends and guests at the track who want to hear me drop pearls of wisdom during the race, I send them to Racing Electronics.
You all right back there?
I think so. I didn't, other than hitting a car, I didn't hit anything, but there's a tire down or something.
If you aren't listening to all the action live, you're missing out. Don't forget to rent a scanner or fan vision for the races. Go to racingelectronics.com to pre-rent for great discounts on your scanner and fan vision rentals.
Chicagoland Speedway turns up the volume September 14th through 17th. Be here Sunday, September 17th for a pre-race concert by country music artist Josh Turner, followed by NASCAR's Best Racing. Tickets for the Tales of the Turtles 400 are available now, and every race ticket is a concert ticket. Get your tickets now at ChicagolandSpeedway.com. Chicagoland Speedway, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs start here.
Welcome back to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Here's more with Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
Thanks for being here on The Straight Line with us this afternoon. And as advertised, on the guest line with us is the driver of the Capsco Contractors Top Fuel Dragster, winner of the U.S. Nationals, winner of the Traxxas Shootout. If it was there in Indy this weekend, he won it. He's Steve Torrence. Congratulations, Steve, on both wins this weekend at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Thanks a lot, guys. Man, it was an unbelievable weekend.
It had to be, right? I mean, you went in there. You're leaving there in the number one spot in the points. You went in there. You won the Traxxas Shootout. You won the race. I mean, you're looking pretty strong, man. The whole and not just at Indy. You guys have been. You're obviously the best car going into the countdown. You ready to keep that momentum up and win you a championship?
I hope so. I feel like the car has just continuously been strong week in and week out. We stumped our toe there in Seattle, and mainly the reason was we just underestimated the guy that we were racing. And lost a really close race there with AB in Brainerd in the semis. So the car's done really well. We just had a little snafu here and there, but I don't know if we've peaked just yet. I think the car is still got some potential left in it. We're working on our cool weather setup where we can try to go out there and go 65 and maybe run with Leah. But the car's doing good. Heck, just I've got all the confidence in the world right now, so I've been crushing the tree. So I feel really happy and really confident to go into the countdown. I'm pretty excited about it and what the opportunities may bring.
Well, Steve, obviously Richard Hogan and you've got Bobby Lagana. You've got a great team over there. So I think you can get down and run those 60s. And talking about Leah, earlier in the year, she was slinging snowballs over at you. And whatever happened with that? Are you guys exchanging Christmas cards or no Christmas cards yet?
We're okay. She's slinging snowballs, but hell, I think we're throwing hard balls now. And, it is what it is. It was a little bit between me and Leah. It was a little bit between me and the Schumacher camp. Nothing bad, just in good fun. But some people tend to get a little more upset and hurt about it than what I tend to do myself. I kind of have a good time with it. I'm out there to have fun. Race, talk some trash. I don't, I'm not really worried about. I mean, we're there to race and win. I'm not there to just be buddies with you.
Yeah. As Erica Enders has said, we didn't come here for a picnic. We came here to race, and I think that's what you were there to do all weekend long. You mentioned the Schumacher camp, and Tony Schumacher is one of the guys that you really like to be. You like to beat everybody, but especially Tony. It had to have been especially gratifying to beat him in the Traxxas Nitro shootout for that $100,000 and get one up on him as well.
It was. I mean, the guy got me last year in Indy, and it was a tough pill to swallow. We lost by 6 thou last year, and I'd been on the tree all day and doing really well, and he plugged it in there on me and beat me on a hole shot and made me look bad. But ultimately, Doug, I mean, they whatever you steal on the starting line, you lose in ET. So they just outrun us last year. But the way that it went down, it made me look kind of bad. So I needed to redeem myself, and
you did.
Went out there and had a good race. And other than Antron, I left on everybody all weekend. So I was really proud of that. I've been working really hard on my lights and trying to improve that. That's been an area where I've been weak in the past, and I'm trying to alleviate that problem.
Well, it looks like you're getting that part fixed. Hey, question. The NHRA used to give a bonus when you doubled up at Indy, when you win the shootout and then you win the race. Did they still do that, or no check for that one this year?
No check for that one this time, man. But, I think you get 100 to win the Traxxas and you get 100 to win the race. So I guess since they upped the purse a little bit, they said no bonus.
Oh, man. Well, at least you got the two big checks, so, I guess that's what's really important.
Yeah, we could use the bonus, I mean, if they wanted to pay it, but they're not going to.
Oh, man.
Hey, on Monday, I think the fans are cool with you and like what you're doing, but I would just imagine that when they saw Cinderella come to the line against you, that there wasn't probably a whole lot of people cheering for you in that final. What were you thinking, and what was your crew thinking going up against Cinderella in that final?
Well, I mean, heck, if it wasn't me in the final, I wouldn't have been cheering for the other guy either. I'd have been cheering for Kevin myself. So, that was a cool story and a cool way that it all went down. I mean, the guy, and it was a Cinderella story, but he earned his way there. I think he probably got away with one first round with that 013 light, but he drove good all weekend. He drove good, every round. I mean, he was on the tree, and they had a really good race car. So he didn't get any give-me's, and that whole team over there did really, really well. I was excited to race him. I was excited. I mean, I talked a little trash down there in the interview with him because two old Texas boys come up to Indy and really put the screws to the Schumacher clan, and I don't think they liked it too much. But I've known Kevin for a long time. We were talking Monday evening after the final and everything. He and I won Alcohol Dragster and Alcohol Funny Car together in Houston in 2006. So we've come a long ways in a little while, and to be able to be racing at Indy in the final round, I mean, that's a pretty neat story in itself.
That really is. Hey, Steve, is there any, we know that there's so many things that go into having a team that's in the position that you are right now in NHRA Top Fuel. Is there any one thing that you can put your finger on that has really made the difference this year, as opposed, because you've won a lot of races in the past, but this year's a little bit different. Is there any one thing that you can put your finger on, or is it just a culmination of everything coming together for you?
Honestly, Doug, there's no one thing in particular. If you tried to pinpoint it, I would just say the calmness and confidence of Richard Hogan, and I think that's all a result of just our team collectively. Everybody works really hard to make sure that everything's perfect, that I'm trying to drive the car the absolute best that I can, so Richard doesn't worry about that. Bobby Lagana keeps that guy smoothed over like butter. I mean, he just, nothing goes wrong at the shop, nothing goes wrong at the racetrack. We just work really hard to keep everything really nice, really smooth, low-key, and no frustrations for Richard. And when he's in that zone, he does really well. You leave him in the lounge and let him come out when he wants to, turn the knobs, send it down the track, and go back. So if it was one thing in particular, that would be just his whole mindset and the confidence level that he has in tuning this race car this year.
And we'll get you out on this, Steve. You head into the countdown with the bonus as the points leader. You're also the defending winner of the 4-wides earlier this year at Charlotte. You headed down here for round 2 here in North Carolina. Your thoughts about coming back to ZMAX and heading into the countdown?
That place was good to us last time we were there, so I'm excited to go back. I like coming out there and hanging out, and I think that the race car we've got right now is the best I've ever had. So when we go there, I'm confident in what we can do. We've got a lot of good data from Charlotte, and we're going to go out there and play hardball. I mean, this is the best opportunity I've ever had to win a championship, and we're going to give it every bit of effort and just throw everything we've got at it to get it done, because, I mean, there's some tough competition with Schumacher, with Antron, with Leah, Coletta. A lot of these cars are stout, and we had distanced ourselves from them up until this point, and it was just Antron and Leah and I, but, now everybody's close, and AJ came over and kind of joked around with us. He goes, "Good job, you won both of the races, but now I'm only 50 points behind you." So we're just going to go there with the mindset that we got to keep digging and grinding, because these guys are not going to cut us any slack, and we got to earn every point we can. And our main objective and the goal that we've got our sights set on is leaving Pomona with that big trophy.
Well, Steve, one thing we want you to do is bring your dancing shoes when you come down to Charlotte, because on Saturday night we've got our break gala, and I'm hoping to get you to come over there this year. So I'll be looking forward to it.
Man, I've been practicing up dancing. I'm going to do one of those track walks with Amanda Busick, and I can't dance at all. I mean, I got 2 left feet. One of them don't have all the toes on it. So I'll practice up, mate. I don't know if you want me to be dancing with you or not.
Well, maybe not with me, but we'll. Yeah, you and I would look. That would look pretty funny. But I guarantee you, we'll have a lot of fun. Jimmo's going to be bringing his dance instructor, so we'll get the dance instructor to give you some moves, so that you'll be really ready to go out there and show them how it's done, and you can show Amanda the moves too.
I might take you up on that. I need some help for sure.
Well, that'll be fun. Congratulations on winning Indy. What an accomplishment. Your team going into the countdown in the top position, just really, really good. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on, and always, it was a blast.
U.S. Nationals winner Steve Torrence joining us on the straight line. And when we return, speaking of U.S. Nationals winner, another one on the line. J.R. Todd joins us next.
Live sports are the one true reality entertainment, where a single dramatic moment can become timeless. In NASCAR, Motor Racing Network's live broadcast elevates your senses to the sights, sounds, and struggles taking place on the racetrack.
One final lap in the Daytona 500. Joey Logano has the point. Junior crosses over.
The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Tune in to the Motor Racing Network. Visit MRN.com for an affiliate list in your local area.
Race fans, visit Camping World of Concord for convenient one-stop shopping on outdoor accessories, top brand RVs, and quality service. Buy an RV and enroll in the Good Sam Elite loyalty program, offering incentives valued at over $2,000. Browse over 10,000 Camping World products and accessories in America's largest RV dealer network. Plus, shop the top manufacturers such as Coleman, Keystone, Newmar, Thor Motor Coach, Winnebago, and many more. America's #1 RV dealer has something for everyone. Visit Camping World of Concord today. See dealer for full details and disclaimers.
At Victory Junction, it's simple. We believe every child, no matter their diagnosis or disability, deserves the chance to just be a kid. So we provide a medically safe environment where children who live in a world of hospital stays and doctor's visits are free to do everything from riding horses, ziplining, swimming, fishing, and bowling, all at no cost to the camper. The experience inspires confidence, builds self-esteem, and changes the life of every child who comes here. Help us change a child's life at victoryjunction.org.
It's The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, once again, here's Doug and Marty.
Thanks for hanging with us here on MRN.com. It is The Straight Line. And Steve Torrence just talked about dreams coming true. And speaking of that, an Indianapolis native winning the U.S. Nationals at Lucas Oil Raceway just outside of Indianapolis. Just an unbelievable weekend for the guy on the guest line right now. He is the driver of Scott Coletta's DHL Toyota for Coletta Motorsports. J.R. Todd joins us. J.R., congratulations. You're a U.S. Nationals winner. Unbelievable.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, it's definitely unbelievable, and that's 2 days later, and I still can't really believe it happened.
How about Connie? So I remember Connie winning that race back a few years ago, and he and Eddie Hill raced in the final round. And now all of a sudden he doesn't have that over your head, because I know Connie likes to, he likes to rib a little bit. That had to be a neat one for Connie to be there and have that be part of that also.
Yeah, absolutely. To be able to win in Scott's car, to do it at Indy in front of Connie, I mean, that race means the world to everybody. That car means the world to everybody at Coletta Motorsports. So to be able to put that thing in the winner's circle, that was extra special, and especially for me, my home race, a lot of family and friends there. I grew up racing junior dragsters there, just a lot of history for me at that place, and it's pretty surreal that it actually happened.
Let's go back to the semifinals. If they talk about getting that lucky round in there, you had trouble, Wilkie had trouble. Finally, Wilkerson goes over and doinks the one of the orange blocks over there. Take us through that round and what happened.
Yeah, I mean, our DH did that run. Probably a little too hard for the conditions we're allowed. Just out there and spun the tires and pedaled it and spin out of the way. I'm like, well, we're screwed. To get off the gas. Next thing I know, there was cones flying over at me, bouncing off the car. You gotta be kidding me. Get out the end of the track and you just see dejected he is, and I felt terrible for him, but at the same time I was like, well, we got our moment here. Now we need to go out, make the best of it, and win this thing. And sure enough, we were able to pull off.
Well, you picked a great place to pull off your second win in Funny Car Eliminator since jumping into that Coletta's car. What you just kind of said it. You've got your extra family and friends and everybody else that comes out there to Indy. Does that any added extra little pressure? Or you had a big winter circle celebration, I bet.
Yeah, we definitely had. We usually hear from about year one tickets, this and that, so added distractions and what have you, and a lot of people back at the end of the pit area yelling and hooting and hollering for you, and just it's awesome to be able to win in front of your home crowd and make them proud, because any other time, like, they come up there to Indy to watch, and I haven't done worth a crap up there, so it was nice to be able to finally win one in front of all them. I mean, a lot of them, they watched me start out racing junior dragsters, so they followed my career up to this point. And at the same time, you just got to try to block out all the distractions and treat it like a normal race, but we all know that Indy's not a normal race by any means.
You started off the season a little slow, and I don't think anybody would have blamed you. I mean, obviously coming over from the dragster world to the funny car world, there's going to be a little bit of a transition period there, but I don't think anybody would deny that since the Western Swing, your car is one of the best now, running very consistently, very fast. Heading into the countdown, you got to feel good about, even though that you're about a full event back, heading into the countdown that you've got a real legitimate shot at winning a championship now.
Yeah, this is exactly, what we wanted coming to this point of the season. I mean, it definitely wasn't our plan to start off the season like we did. Of course, the first couple races, it took a few runs for me to get comfortable in the car, but then, we just struggled, going down the track and getting a handle on the tune-up, which they, Jono and Todd kind of changed the way they were going about things at the beginning of the year as opposed to what, Nicky and Jono had done in the past. And just it took a while to get a handle on it. People kept saying, you'll get comfortable and get the hang of it. It's like, no, that's not really the reason that we're not running that well. It's because I'm a new guy. It wouldn't matter if you had, John Forrest in that thing. We're just struggling with the tune-up right now. But these guys, definitely since Denver, have gotten a handle on it. And the car showed its performance in Sonoma. And I think what helped us the most here recently was the Indy test. We tried some things there and, come out and run our my career best run Friday night qualifying, which that's really where we've been struggling all season is in qualifying. So it was nice to, get up there in the top half and get lane choice, and we just kind of carried that all through race day. And I think if the countdown, if it stays hot like it has been, we can definitely run with these guys. Where right now, Robert Hyde and Matt Hagan and a couple of the other guys, they can really throw down when the conditions call for it, especially those Friday night runs in qualifying. But that's the beauty of it. We don't race Sunday in those Friday night conditions usually. So if it's hot and nasty out, I definitely like our chances of being able to run with these guys for the championship.
Well, right now the Coletta Funny Cars have won the last two Nitro Funny Car races, so you got to think, well, you know what? We're on the right team. It doesn't matter how many cars Forrest or Schumacher has when you guys have won the last two races.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we've won the last 3 out of the 4 races, so it's definitely not a fluke that our cars are running the way they are. I think that we've proven that we can run with these guys, and all it takes is to get hot at the right time of the season. These guys, the DHL guys, they did it in 2015 with Del Worsham. They went on a tear once they got to Charlotte. So I'm hoping we can relive some of that magic when we get down there next week.
Well, the other thing about being on a tear in Charlotte is now Jimmo is coming to our brake scale on Saturday night this year in Charlotte at ZMAX, and I'm hoping that you're going to bring your dancing shoes and come on down and do a little bit of fun with us on Saturday night.
Oh, man, I don't know if you want to see me in my dancing shoes, Doug. It's usually pretty embarrassing. I think the last time I broke those out might have been at the banquet a few years ago when someone gave me a few too many cocktails. So I might leave those in the closet, but I'll definitely take in watching Jimbo because he usually puts on a pretty good show out there dancing.
Well, that'll be great. We're going to have a lot of fun. Congratulations winning Indy. What a great win. What a great way to go into the countdown with the momentum that you've had the last few races. So awesome job, and good luck going into the coming up countdown.
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to seeing you guys down there next week.
Driver Scott Coletta's DHL Toyota for Coletta Motorsports. He's the U.S. Nationals winner in the Funny Car Division, J.R. Todd, joining us on the straight line. When we return, we'll wrap up another great edition of the show.
Being there matters, and your United States Navy protects and defends America on the world's oceans. Around the globe, around the clock, Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and, most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America when piracy threatens global commerce, when disaster strikes, or when called upon by the Commander-in-Chief. Your Navy is there. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters, and America's Navy is already there.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Bagley. Join me every Tuesday night for NASCAR Live. This 1-hour interactive show gives you an inside look at your favorite NASCAR drivers.
I've always firmly believed if I'm worried about getting hurt, I need to step down.
As well as give you a chance to talk with them one-on-one.
My question for Chase is, well, first of all, I'm a huge fan, Chase.
Well, thanks. Hey, Ryan, I just want to congratulate you on your first one.
Oh, I am? Oh, my gosh. Hi.
It's NASCAR Live every Tuesday at 7 Eastern on the Motor Racing Network.
MRN's Winged Nation on MAV TV.
Rico Abrams in the house. How are you?
Now this is great. Be on MRN, Wing Nation.
Brian Brown.
You guys do so much Wing Nation in general for our sport. It's awesome. You take us to the next level, and it's just awesome to have such a professional run show that is representing our sport, and something we're real proud of.
Greg Wilson's in the house.
Yeah, and thanks for what you guys do. And shout out to all you fans. You guys make our sport, and thank you.
Saturdays at 8:30 and 11:30 Eastern on MAV TV with Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
You're listening to The Straight Line, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now, back to Marty Hough and Doug Herbert.
Big thanks to J.R. Todd and Steve Torrence for joining us on The Straight Line this afternoon. And some other news coming out of Indy, kind of bittersweet. Our good friend Alan Johnson announcing after 20-some-odd years of pro stock that he's going to hang it up at the end of the year. It's been a great run for him, former champion, great career.
Well, and Alan Johnson is an asset to drag racing. Yep. For the fans that don't know Alan, he is a super guy. He is just a super neat guy. His wife Pam is a super neat guy. His mom and dad go to all the races. I mean, his dad is the engine builder and been with Alan throughout his whole racing career, and a long time. Great people. That's really sad for me to know that Alan is not going to be back out there racing full time next year. Now, we did. Mimi and I went out to dinner with Alan and Pam here a few months ago, and he kind of told me this was coming, but he also told me that he might end up still running a few races. So who knows? I mean, Alan might not be gone, but I think his priorities have changed. He doesn't want to spend every weekend at the racetrack.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. Like you said, a real family, a true family operation. Right. And so
he's a successful businessman. Yeah. He's got a lot of other things going on. The racing is just one of his things, and he's got other things.
Yep.
So
and,
you know what? I think that's a great decision.
Yeah, and congratulations to Alan Johnson on a fantastic career, and hopefully we'll see you back at the racetrack occasionally here in the very near future. Again, big thanks to Steve Torrence and J.R. Todd for joining us. So for everybody involved, including Doug, I'm Marty. We will talk to you next week right here on The Straight Line.
You've been listening to The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. The Straight Line is the show for drag racing fans and was brought to you by Hercules Tires. Tune in again next Thursday on MRN.com and the MRN app. The Straight Line is also available on demand in MRN.com's Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, and in iTunes or the Google Play Store. The Straight Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.